Immense glaciers approached the road, we heard the rumbling thunder of the falling avalanche, and marked the smoke of its passage. Mont Blanc, the supreme and magnificent Mont Blanc, raised itself from the surrounding aiguilles, and its tremendous dome overlooked the valley. We appreciate the time and effort that you have taken to submit your application. Unfortunately, your project has not been chosen for an award for this round of the micro-commissions. We received a large number of high-quality applications with many brilliant and exciting ideas, which made the decision process an extremely competitive and difficult one. However, you came really close, and we'd encourage you to resubmit for the next deadline, and we're happy to provide more detailed feedback from the panel in order to help your application for the next round. I remembered the effect that the view of the tremendous and ever-moving glacier had produced upon my mind when I first saw it. It had then filled me with a sublime ecstasy that gave wings to the soul, and allowed it to soar from the obscure world to light and joy. The sight of the awful and majestic in nature had indeed always the effect of solemnizing my mind, and causing me to forget the passing cares of life. I determined to go alone. Watch this space commissions. I can appreciate the difficulty in that not only are we asking for you to submit an application, On examining my dwelling, I found that one of the windows of the cottage had formerly occupied a part of it, but the panes had been filled up with wood. In one of these was a small and almost imperceptible chink, through which the eye could just penetrate. Through this crevice, a small room was visible, whitewashed and clean, but very bare of furniture. In one corner, near a small fire, sat an old man, leaning his head on his hands in a disconsolate attitude. It was nearly noon when I arrived at the top of the ascent. For some time I sat upon the rock that overlooks the sea of ice. The mist covered both that and the surrounding mountains. Presently a breeze dissipated the cloud, and I descended upon the glacier. The surface is very uneven, rising like the waves of a troubled sea, descending low, and interspersed by rifts that sink deep. The field of ice is almost a league in width, but I spent nearly 2 hours in crossing it. You have taken to submit your application. Unfortunately, your project has not been chosen for an award for this last round of the currently micro commissions. We received a large number of high-quality applications with many brilliant and exciting ideas, which made the decision process an extremely competitive and difficult one. The panels for each round was different, with panel members named in the blogs launching the decision for each round for full transparency. We understand that in the competitive process some will always gain funds and others not, although that doesn't make it any easier, and the panel members really struggled with this time around particularly. Sadly, we didn't have any more funds available to fund more awards. You, my creator, abhor me. What hope can I gather from your fellow creatures, who owe me nothing? They spurn and hate me. The desert mountains and dreary glaciers are my refuge. I have wandered here many days. The caves of ice, which I only do not fear, are a dwelling to me, and the only one which man does not grudge. These bleak skies I hail, for they are kinder to me than your fellow beings. Thank you for your application to Unlimited. We appreciate the time and effort that you have taken to submit your application. Unfortunately, your project, Submission Ref 0097, has not reached our shortlist for the Research and Development Awards 2020 for this round of Unlimited. We received a large number of high-quality... His power and threats were not omitted in my calculations. A creature who could exist in the ice caves of the glaciers, and hide himself from pursuit among the ridges of inaccessible precipices, was a being possessing faculties it would be vain to cope with. After a long pause of reflection, I concluded that the justice due both to him and my fellow creatures demanded of me that I should comply with his request. Turning to him, therefore, I said, I consent to your demand, on your solemn oath to quit Europe forever, and every other place in the neighborhood of man, as soon as I shall deliver into your hands a female who will accompany you in your exile. I would like to thank you for your application for the Arts Foundation Fellowship for Visual Arts. Such applications take time to prepare, and we are grateful for the time and effort you took for the submission. The advisory meeting has now taken place and all applicants have been reviewed. Unfortunately, you are not a finalist this year. The fact that you were selected by your nominator above any other applicant is in our eyes seen as proof of your talent, and I hope you gain some consolation for this inspiring. For your application to our Beyond Commission. We were overwhelmed by the volume and quality of applications, and so we do apologize for any delay in getting back to you. Unfortunately, on this occasion your application was not successful. Due to the high volume of applications that we received to Beyond, we are unable to provide individual feedback to applicants. Look at that castle which overhangs yon precipice, and that also on the island, almost concealed amongst the foliage of those lovely trees, and now that group of laborers coming from among their vines, and that village half hid in the recess of the mountain. Oh, surely, the spirit that inhabits and guards this place has a soul more in harmony with man than those who pile the glacier, or retire to the inaccessible peaks of the mountains of our own country.